All right. So, something popped up, and I thought I would take a few minutes to go discuss it. And right now, you might be asking why I'm parked behind this truck here. I'll get to it. And honestly, when I get to it, I will show you how this falls into all this. But for right now, the topic for this video is something that's very important that we all encounter, more or less. Some choose to straight up ignore it or to move on, and other people rely on what they've learned throughout life as they've gone on. And that is, why do things matter? Why does life matter? This is partly born out of a response that I will link down below, but also it's a very good topic that is popping up more and more frequently, and this also ties in with my friend who checked out early, so to speak. The video that I'll link to down below is about black pill and motivation. And honestly, there are some very good questions about why things matter. And one of them is rather simple. If you want to get to a better place, you're going to have to move. You're going to have to do something. Because things just aren't handed. Interesting. Things aren't just handed to you. You have to actually work for it. The best is never free anyway. We all know that. There's always a cost attached to stuff. Now, I think being stuck and falling into ruts in life will happen from time to time. And frankly, it's just kind of the way things are. Contracts and all that, like for apartments. There's just some things that you kind of have to accept that come along with life and some of the things in life. You just don't really have control over them. Why things matter. There has to be a purpose and has to be a point. And sometimes it may take us years to understand these points. Like, why did this happen years ago? Well, it could be to show a lesson. It could be because of some dumb decision. It could be a bit of a trial if you want to throw faith and belief in God and all that. And that's a very good one too. Because you don't really know who you are until you go through something and you look back and be like, that's what I overcame. That was one of the challenges that defined who I was, defined me, and I have learned so much from it. You know? It could be from anything from being wounded, being abused, being a survivor, a life-changing experience of some other kind. I've heard some people tell their stories about how they've supposedly seen God. They met him and they weren't allowed to go on. They had to come back to this life. And it's interesting hearing these stories. Now, I would also have to say that a lot of this ties in with our purpose and why people are here on this earth to begin with. Religion helps to answer those questions, even if we don't like them. But it's our choice to whether or not we want to choose. We have that we came from someone, some being. Not just, I'm talking about as a race, not as individuals, because as individuals we all came from someone else. That's realistic, and that's on a physical level. Beyond what is physical, it's possible, and it's encouraging to a degree on where we come from, because where we come from helps to answer what our value is and what our purpose is. Now, I'm not saying you should believe this or that. I'm not saying anything like that at all. But to help answer some of these very hard questions on why things matter, sometimes, well, you do have to come to your own realizations and you have to come to your own, you have to develop your own thoughts and understandings. Because if it's just handed to you, it's not going to mean anything. And unfortunately, the question of why things matter, you will, if you don't answer, you're going to be stuck there for a very long time. In some cases, you'll be stuck there for a very long time, and then you finally